Hitherto the nature of this narrative, besides rendering the intricacies in the beginning unavoidable, has more or less required that many things, instead of being set down in the order of occurrence, should be retrospectively or irregularly given. This last is the case with the following passages, which will conclude the account. During the long, mild voyage to Lima, there was, as before hinted, a period during which Don Benito a little recovered his health, or, at least in some degree, his tranquillity. Ere the decided relapse which came, the two captains had many cordial conversations, their fraternal unreserve in singular contrast with their former withdrawments. Again and again it was repeated how hard it had been to enact the part forced on the Spaniard by Babo.
Ah, my dear Don Amasa, at those very times when you thought me so morose and ungrateful, nay, when, as you now admit, you half thought me plotting your murder, at those very times my heart was frozen. I could not look at you, thinking of what, both on board this ship and your own, hung from other hands over my kind benefactor. And as God lives, Don Amasa, I know not whether desire for my own safety alone could have nerved me to that leap into your boat, had it not been for the thought that, did you, unenlightened, return to your ship, you, my best friend, with all who might be with you, stolen upon that night in your hammocks, would never in this world have wakened again. Do but think how you walked this deck, how you sat in this cabin, every inch of ground mined into honeycombs under you. Had I dropped the least hint, made the least advance toward an understanding between us, death, explosive death, yours as mine, would have ended the scene.
'Tis true, true. But you saved my life, Don Benito, more than I yours. Saved it, too, against my knowledge and will.
Nay, my friend, God charmed your life, but you saved mine. To think of some things you did, those smilings and chattings, rash pointings and gesturings. For less than these they slew my mate Reynolds, but you had the Prince of Heaven's safe conduct through all ambuscades.
Yes, yes, all is owing to Providence, I know. But the temper of my mind that morning was more than commonly pleasant, while the sight of so much suffering, more apparent than real, added to my good nature, compassion, and my charity, happily interweaving the three. Had it been otherwise, doubtless, as you hint, some of my interferences with the blacks might have ended unhappily enough. Besides that, those feelings I spoke of enabled me to get the better of momentary distrust, at times when acuteness might have cost me my life, without saving another's. Only at the end did my suspicions get the better of me, and you know how wide of the mark then they proved.
Wide indeed. You were with me all day, stood with me, sat with me, talked with me, looked at me, ate with me, drank with me, and yet your last act was to clutch for a villain, not only an innocent man, but the most pitiable of all men. To such degree may malign machinations and deceptions impose. So far may even the best man err, in judging the conduct of one with the recesses of whose condition he is not acquainted. But you were forced to it, and you were in time undeceived. Would that, in both respects, it was so ever, and with all men.
But I think I understand you. But you generalize, Don Benito, and mournfully enough. But the past is past. Why moralize upon it? Forget it. See, yon bright sun has forgotten it all, and the blue sea, and the blue sky. These have turned over on new leaves.
Because they have no memory. Because they are not human.
But these mild trades that now fan your cheek, Don Benito, do they not come with a human-like healing to you? They are but warm friends, steadfast friends are the trades.
With their steadfastness, they but waft me to my tomb, Senor.
But you are saved, Don Benito. You are saved. What has cast such a shadow upon you?
Negro.
Some months after, dragged to the gibbet at the tail of a mule, the black met his voiceless end. The body was burned to ashes, but for many days the head, that hive of subtlety, fixed on a pole in the plaza, met unabashed by the gaze of the whites, and across the plaza looked toward St. Bartholomew's Church, in whose vaults slept then as now the recovered bones of the Arananda, and across the Rimac Bridge looked towards the monastery on Mount Agonia without, where 3 months after being dismissed by the court, Benito Cereno, born on the bier, did, indeed, follow his leader.